Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome to Behringer. And today the title is going to be Vollmer. Now the reason for this video is because normally at the end of the year I would basically do a fleet list of what I have, and it's almost like a sort of inventory of all the locos that I have, and I show you exactly what runs on this layout. The thing is, I've got some bits for the new part of the layout, which is Vollmer, and by showing you the locos and everything, I'm basically going to give away what it is I'm going to be putting over this. So I thought, well, since I got these bits for Christmas and all the rest of it, I might as well show you what I've got and what I'm actually going to do over at Vollmer. So here we are at the kitchen, which is where Vollmer is going to be. Now the reason for calling it Vollmer will become apparent, but since this is going to be a completely new section, I wanted to just give it a new name, and it's almost like a separate layout. And then I also thought I'd guide you through what the plan will be in terms of how it's going to work out. Now this is where it ends. So from here to here is 4 foot, and then from here to here is just 2 feet. And so basically there's going to be a 4 foot by 2 foot board here on this bit, and then there's going to be a slightly narrower piece, which, like new shot before it, yeah, I think we're focusing now, is going to run all the way across the back here and basically across the back here until we get to that corner there, which is where it will finish. And I'm going to explain to you what the plan is going to be, oops, in terms of what I'm going to build here. So let me just give you a brief inspiration as to what's the reasoning behind what I'm going to be doing here. So the inspiration for this build is this Freightliner Class 57. As I said before, there were some issues along this wall here, which has been dealt with. I've now repositioned the fridge, and also, like I said to you before, there's one or two running issues. It wasn't so much the new shot bit that I wasn't happy with, it was actually the offered on the hill bit that I wasn't happy with, but one interlinked with the other one. But even so, the new shot had a slight sag in it, which has also caused a bit of an issue. So we start again. So it's a bit of a new challenge, but I'm looking forward to it. So this Class 57 is a Batman Class 57, and I love it to pieces. Now I did say some time ago that I do like my locos to be on here for a reason and to have something to do. So the aim for this part of the layout is going to give this loco something to do. And so I've started collecting, although no work has actually started yet, I have actually been collecting bits and pieces for this side of the layout. And I've also recycled a number of bits and pieces from New Shot to be used on this part of the layout. So the plan is really to build a container terminal along here. That's what we're going to be building, with a station. So my DMUs and the EMUs can still come up here and create a service, and then I can also still keep the added freight, and the China clay will disappear. I'm not entirely certain whether it will come back, but it will disappear in the short term for now. So basically the station will be along this side here, and that will run sort of more or less straight to that point here, and there'll be another point here that will then fan out almost like the fill yard and go into the container terminal. So the platform will be one platform with tracks either side of it to create platform 1 and 2. and that station will be called Vollmer. And again, I'll let you know the reason why. And as for the plan for the container terminal, it will be fanned out to basically run along almost like the same sort of lines as U-shop, and basically have 2 lines which will run underneath the crane. There'll be 2 lines beside the crane, and one will be a reception siding, one will be a stabling siding, and then basically that will run all the way around, and it will fan into a single line down the back here to a head shunt. And the back wall scenery will basically be very plain and simple. It will be kind of like warehouse backing onto the railway, so it'll be sort of like with a little bit of depth, and I'll just make that myself. It's not really a problem, it's very cost effective, so that will keep the cost down. Also I'll make my own low relief sort of containers, and also supplemented with some containers that I'll buy from the shop to put in front of it. So basically all the low relief stuff that isn't going to be seen too much can be at the back, and the nice sort of containers can go on the front to give a nice effect. And basically that will then go from a single line to fan out along here, fan out, and then come back into the point work, which will feed into the branch, and then this bit here will go into the station, which will finish here, and that should hopefully all work. So I've got a track plan in my head, and like I said, this particular 57 has been the inspiration for it. So I've got some other bits to show you that I've got over the Christmas period, all to do with this section. So I thought I'd sort of share it with you now, what my plans are. So this is the next question I suppose you may be asking, is why Vollmer? Well, Vollmer is the name of this crane, and I just thought, well, we can have it as the Vollmer container terminal, and maybe just use that as the name of the station. And this is one that I've just picked up. I picked it up off of eBay. It's brand new, and it's a plastic kit, and I wanted to, as per usual, to try and keep costs down and to try and create something effective without breaking the bank. And this was one of the options offered. Markling do a crane, which is a very nice crane actually. I saw it on eBay as well. And then there's also the Bachmann offering, which is a resin offering. And then there's also, you might be able to pick up some second-hand Lima or Fala container bits and pieces, which I also saw 1 or 2 bits on eBay. But I settled for this one. And the reason for it is basically I find that the Bachmann one was too expensive and too big for what it was. Again, it's a personal choice thing. I just find that it was 160 quid, I think it was 165 or something like that, around that sort of mark. And it's big. It's a static thing, so it doesn't move. So it seems like a lot of money to pay for a static crane, quite frankly, in my view. So I wrote that one off. Haldgen also do the one that they like you see on Warren Lane layout, but again, last time there was one available which was on eBay. It's about 650 quid. I know somebody who operates it and has got 2 when they first came out, and he paid 180 quid, but he's telling me that it's pretty unreliable and parts for it are difficult to come by. So that ruled that one out. Some of the Lima ones, and I think there was a Fala one, and even the Markland one. The Markland one was probably the other nicest one that I probably would have gone for if I hadn't gone for this one. The old Lima ones are kind of like a bit kind of crass. They do operate the crass. It's kind of it's like a sink plunger thing that you press down and it picks up the crane, and it does work. But to me, it just didn't seem realistic because the parts seem so kind of I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it just didn't look right. It just looked too obvious that it was just like a toy, and that it's just had a big plunger, and it just didn't look right. And the Markland one, which is very nice as well, which is the other one I might have considered, also works. However, it's got a dial on the top, and to me again that just seemed a bit too kind of obvious. It didn't seem kind of really realistic. So this one was on for £30, and that's how much I paid for it on eBay. It's a plastic kit. As you can see, this is what it sort of looks like, and it is static. However, in reality, I'm not really going to be doing it. I'm not going to be playing with that in terms of I'm not going to be really loading or offloading from trains to lorries. I'm just going to give the impression that I do. So from that point of view, I didn't really particularly I wanted something effective, something not necessarily that's going to break the bank, but something that's going to be really convincing and do a good job nonetheless. And this, although in blue, will be painted up in the Freightliner colours, and will probably have the legs here in the yellow and the top bar in the green, and then picking out the detail, as it were. I haven't built it yet, and the reason why I haven't built it is basically I haven't actually built the baseboard for this yet, so I didn't really want to build it and have it knocking around the layout and maybe getting broke or anything. So I just wanted to build it, and then once I've built the framework, then I can build this, see where I'm going to put it exactly, and basically take it from there really. So this will be the crane. I'm looking forward to it, and it's like I said, it's made by a company called Vollmer. They are quite hard to get hold of, but I managed to pick this one up new off of eBay. It isn't HO scale, but I think it's still going to do the trick anyway, and I think it's going to be really effective. I've seen it on the layout and it looks really, really good, so I'm looking forward to getting this up and running. So the next bit for Vollmer is our container lorry, and this will be placed on the side of the container, on the side of the crane, and waiting to receive a container from the train. And this is a DAF that I've picked up from my local model shop. In fact, I didn't even realise that they did it. The thing is, it's in Freightliner colours, and it's been sold out absolutely everywhere from what I gather. And I've tried looking on the internet, and luckily my local model shop had this one, and it's the last one he's got. I didn't know that they did it in Freightliner colours, which is precisely what I wanted. I didn't even know it was out, so I was very fortunate to pick this up at a good price. And if I just take it like that, you can see that it's a cracking vehicle. Let me just give it a little nosy round as well, just give it a little spin round. So, like I said, once again, this will be parked alongside, kind of a bit like if you've seen the Warren layout, you'll know what I'm talking about. It will be parked alongside the crane, waiting to receive the crane from the train. So that's kind of the premise of that. And then there's going to be crane containers dotted all around the layout. And another reason for doing Vollmer is it gives me an excuse to run some trains that I really wanted to run that I haven't been able to. So I'm going to show you another one. So here we have on my layout one of my newest recruits, and it's an ugly duckling, is what it's known as, also known as a Predator, and it's a class 70005 by Batman, and it's in a weathered state. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I'd own one of these. It was never one that I really liked when they first came out, but to be honest with you, they've really grown on me, and I've really become quite fond of them actually. In terms of locos, I see them all the time on my route, when I get up to the stand and I'm waiting my stand time before going back, and I'm overlooking the railway line on my bus, and I see these coming along quite frequently, along with the Class 66, and I've had this running, and it's really good to look at, to see running. Also, there's a layout on YouTube called New Junction, and I think he convinced me finally to take the plunge on this Class 70, because I loved seeing his Class 70 running around on his layout on the intermodal, being the containers, and it just looks so great. Whenever I see these running around on the layout, I just think they look great. And also the 57, the 66s, and the 56s all on their long trains, whether they be merry-go-rounds, containers, aggregates. You see one of these powering around the layout with a long rake of train, with a long rake of wagons. It just looks great. I can't really do the length, but I'm working on a track plan or a procedure, in which case I might be able to do. So I'm just I still haven't quite finalised exactly how many containers I'm going to be able to haul with this thing, but for my layout I should say. But she's a real beauty. If I just now you can see it's got a tension lock coupling on one end, and on this end there's nothing. Now that's just purely because there is a bag of parts with it, and basically you just unclip the bottom bit there and replace it if you want to put tension lock couplings on both sides, or KDs, or whatever it is you use. But yeah, it's a cracking loco, and it's so smooth. It really is. It's a really smooth loco, and it just runs beautifully. And I mean, this is factory weathered, and I actually like it. I know some people don't necessarily like factory weathering or think it's not up to scratch, but to be honest with you, I don't do weathering myself, so I'm quite grateful just to have some, get some factory weathering done. It looks good. So we have a couple of locos, we have a crane, but now we need something for the 57 and the 70 to pull. So here are a couple of twin packs, and it's by Dapol, double O gauge, and those are the two codes, B913 A and B. This is what they are. They're both exactly the same. They're both exactly the same in what they are. But my local model shop, they've had these for a little while, and these were cheaper than the other ones, and these are the actual ones I liked anyway. So I decided to get both of these at the same time, and these were the last two he had. So that will give me a bit of a start. I'm still looking around on eBay and adding to these things, whether they be from Dapol, Batman, Railtrack, wherever I can get them from, and depending on which containers I like, I'll slowly start building up a rake of containers. So that's another sort of couple of bits that I've got. So that's given me a good start. So hopefully by the time I start building the layout itself and getting the track plan together, I've kind of got a few bits and pieces that I already can start making the layout come to life, sort of thing, with locos to use for that particular area, as well as having containers. And then the next thing you know and need, once you've got the containers, is, yeah, you guessed it, a shunter. So the trains come in with the containers, it's now offloaded the containers, and now it's up to the shunter to put them into position and do what it needs to do. And this is a limited edition from Kerno Models, and you can't get them anymore. I did try looking. I know you can get Hornby equivalents, but this one's come off of eBay, and I was quite lucky to get hold of it, because it didn't take me long to find it, and I don't think they come up that often either. And it came up at a really good price. In fact, it's pretty much the same sort of money as you pay for a normal Batman shunter. that's out on the market at the moment. It's factory weathered, and it's named. It's called Terry, and it's still got its original certificate, and it's also got its nameplates as well. And like I said, it is factory weathered and it is limited edition. And I could have got the cheaper Hornby one, but I really wanted to kind of go all out with this, and I really liked the idea of this shunter. It just looks so beautiful, and the detail is so crisp, and the weathering is lovely as well, and it's just a really nice model. So this pretty much concludes what's happening on the layout at this end. I won't bore you any more to tears with any more, because I think this video has been going on quite a while now, and obviously I've been bombarded you with a couple recently, but I just thought I'd give you kind of a brief update as to what I'm going to be doing at this end of the layout, and also some of the bits and pieces that I've picked up along the way to go and enhance this side of the layout. So thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment and subscribe, and hopefully by the new year, or just after the new year, it'll probably be just after the new year, I'll have a bit of a loco fleet list in terms of a complete sort of revision of what I have inventory wise of the layout in terms of rolling stock. So thanks for watching once again. Feel free to comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon.